Time the monkey. Get that butt ready. Get that butt ready here on camera. Woo! Alrighty, hello everybody. Did you or someone you love lose a $140 million stealth fighter jet? If so, call on the services of... It's in Cuba. So, yeah, they lost an F-35 fighter jet. Pilot ejected. Jet kept flying, which now leads everyone to believe, like, why the pilot eject? And they think it's somewhere in South Carolina. But there was no report of anything going crash, boom, and no smoke and no debris fields. So, if that's the case, then where is it? Probably the ocean. But they're looking. They're looking for that sucker. Yay. Other news, BBBYQ. They released some subtle things in the docket. Nothing to, change the planning out there. But they made the note that with the plan, equity holders will be satisfied. The only way equity holders are satisfied is if they get to maintain equity. So that alludes to the fact that people will be maintaining equity in the company. Shares they own, what have you. So there's that. Another Chinese stock, I forgot their name. Sherere? Sugar Janene. Cheche Group went from $11 to 75 today before leveling out again. So if you bought in early on that sucker, way to go. You made a bunch of money. So it seems like every single time one of these Chinese stocks IPOs or has their warrants come to the market, it just explodes, at least for a day. Not quite the HKD levels where it's doing $2,000 in like an hour, but it does a good job. So I need to keep, I failed miserably and wasn't paying attention. I've been trying to pay attention to when these Chinese stocks enter the market. Should have paid more attention this time around. Oh, well. Yeah, so do you have anything other important stuff, Monkey? I can shit on Elon a little bit because we like doing that. Elon was bragging about how many views his interview with Benjamin Netanyahu went. And he's like, look, 3.4 million people have seen it. But really, they forgot to take the view count off the video, and it was like 300,000. So... also, he said that he's planning on charging everybody to use Twitter. So Twitter will no longer be a website funded by advertising. It'll be a website funded by you paying to give him content. So, expected mass exodus into other platforms eventually as engagement disappears and no one wants to be there anymore. So, yeah, daytime. Bam. All right, buddy. Oh, I forgot the daytime one's shorter. Turn it off. Off. Nighttime's off. Off. Dmitry Maximov. First one. Aw, yeah. Happy birthday, Houston. Thank you, Dmitry. I've been watching the new Ahsoka series on Disney. It's great. Do you like Star Wars? Or is it not horny enough for you? No, I've been watching it. It's fantastic. I have no frame of reference to any of the stuff from the Clone Wars because I did not watch those. I've never seen them. So, like, I have no backstory whatsoever. My introduction to Ahsoka was when she showed up in The Mandalorian, or was it the other one? I think it was The Mandalorian. So, cool. All right. But no, I've been enjoying it. It is like Andor was rad. It was really adult and something that was like, finally, they're not making this for 4-year-olds. I understand like the money for Star Wars is the toys and you get the kids to buy the toys and stuff. But I really, 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 really appreciated how adult oriented Andor was. I mean, the opening scene is literally like a brothel. Like you don't see that in the rest of the Star Wars universe. You don't see red light district ladies dancing in a bubble window, a la Blade Runner or something. But I appreciate just how dark and adult it was. I'm glad that adults got to have something, because one problem with George Lucas's stuff is that like he didn't grow with the audience. You know, like, yeah, there's some like goofy kid stuff in the first 3 Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back, I think, was pretty adult. But like, he had a show that was probably geared to 12-year-olds to adult with the audience intention, and it was a hit with little kids. And then when he made the prequels, he was like, we're going to focus on the little kids. And then they sucked. So, you know, you got that. Anyway, I do like Star Wars. And Star Wars is not nearly horny enough to ever be Star Trek. So, there's that. Dimitri Maximoff, I'm still waiting for you to return my dragon shirts so that the course of my life can correct itself. They're in the mail. Alexander K. retracted. John Castro, Houston. Happy birthday. Are you familiar with earthquake lightning? Would like to hear your thoughts on it, or if they are real and what causes it. Earthquake lightning. I have never heard of anything called earthquake lightning. What are earthquake lights? Phenomena such as sheet lightning, balls of light, streamers, steady glows, reported in association with earthquakes called earthquake lights. This is from the Geological Survey. Okay. You. Go there. Open that. Done. Okay. Ball of light, streamers, steady glows, reported association with earthquakes are called earthquake lights, EQL. Geophysicists differ on the extent to which they think that individual reports of unusual lightning near the time epicenter of earthquake actually represent EQL. Some doubt that any of the reports constitute solid evidence, whereas others think that at least some reports possibly correspond to EQL. Physics-based hypotheses have been proposed to explain specific classes of EQL reports, such as those in the immediate vicinity of a causative fault at the time of a major earthquake. On the other hand, some reports of EQL have turned out to be associated with electricity arcing from power lines shaking. That's where I would assume it comes from. Is that when you have transformers exploding because poles are going down and lines are getting snapped, I would assume that's where it's coming from. Like, the only way you'd really be able to test it is, you know, an earthquake in a completely uninhabited area. Someone would see it, right? There's no infrastructure, there's no power lines, and then somebody in that zone would have to be there. But if it's an uninhabited area, no one will be there to see it. So, yeah, I would lean towards power line problems on that one. I just can't imagine why. Like, yeah, you got things rubbing against each other, right? But they're already grounded because it's the Earth. It's grounded in itself. Interesting. Last waves, ever had pinched nerve? How do you treat it? Oh, yeah. I threw my back out really, really bad about a year ago, to the point I had to sit in a chair for 3 days with muscle relaxers and stuff, and just tears streaming down my face. Like, my brain blocked out the pain. I know the pain was there. I know it was so bad that I was crying, but I cannot recall the pain to save my life. I had that happen. And one time, in my shoulder, I don't know, pinched a nerve, whatever. But so what was happening? It was like 10 minutes before I had to go to work. And it's like, oh, well, I got 10 minutes. I can unload the dishwasher. Let's get this thing done. So I'm unloading the dishwasher, unloading it. And I dropped something on the ground, like a cup, and bing, ding, dong, bing. And I went down to get it, forgetting that I had the cabinet open for where I put the pots and pans. And I just like landed my chin on top of that cabinet and literally just flashed myself out. Just like woke up, I don't know, probably 10 seconds later, just chin's bleeding like crazy. I was like, ah, shit. So I message work. I'm like, hey, I cut my chin open and I'm seeing stars. I'm be late. They were understanding. And I put a little Band-Aid on my face, show up to work. About within 20 minutes being at work, this thing just had grown this giant hematoma. It looked like I had mumps. I looked like I was diseased. And people, they come in, they just give me this look of like, I don't want that guy to be near me. So anyway, my arm didn't work very well. It felt like raindrops were kind of falling on my arm, and my thumb was tingly, and my shoulder hurts. I think when I knocked myself out, it landed weird. And eventually a friend, I was like, my shoulder is killing me. My arm feels weird. Can you massage this point right here? And she's like, oh, it feels like a ribbon is spun. And by that, she meant like the ribbon's supposed to be this way, and it had like twisted. And so she just hammered that thing really hard. And all of a sudden my shoulder went doink, and this feeling rushed into my arm. That was very weird. It was such a weird sensation. It was like booting up or something. Very weird. But yeah, pinched nerves suck, especially if they're in your spine, where you can't like walk or move or sit or stand or lay down or. So watch out for that. But they suck. Lost Waves, did you see the machete flights in Chicago over the weekend for Mexican Independence Day? Machete fights. Can't read. No. Machete fights, Mexican Independence Day. Machete fights. Machete swung during Little Village Parade. 2 teenagers stabbed downtown Chicago. Well, teen boy among 2 stabbed during Mexican Independence Day. A fight broke out near State Whacker. Huh. Well, I guess you can have some machete fights. I thought it was like an exposition, like, hey, watch us do our machete skills. But it seems like just people just stabbing people. So, Viva la Revolution. Alexander K. Happy birthday, Houston. Could financial markets collapsing trigger the apocalypse? If so, how do you think it'll play out? Trigger the apocalypse? No. Make it a pain in the ass? Yes. Get the read. How do you think it'll play off? I mean, it will play out the same way whenever there's a financial collapse plays out. We have to spend a bunch of money and flood the market with money. That's how you do it. Ta-da! Can I read? Happy birthday, Houston. Here in Canada, everyone is saying housing won't fall much due to supply, but I think this will be worse than 2008 once workers get laid off. Thoughts? I have no idea what the job situation in Canada is like. I've not paid close attention to that at all. But you do have a bunch of mortgages resetting. One Canadian guy had been messaging me about like he's trying to refinance, worried about when his mortgage resets and it's like 9-10%. And he managed to find somebody to give him a long-term fixed rate loan at 5%. So he took that. It's still more than he was paying his introductory portion of his adjustable rate mortgage, but it's way less than like the 9-10% he'd be paying if it reset. I think the big thing people have to look out for are the housing speculators who are going to have to dump stock. And by stock, I don't mean like shares of stock. I mean stock of housing. You've got the big time, huge landlords in Canada. You got guys that single people that control 100,000 units and stuff. And those folks are going to see their rents probably drop 20, 30, 40% over the next year and a half, 2 years. And then you have the speculators who got in on the short-term rental market doing Airbnb and VRBO and stuff. And those folks are going to see huge losses as well. There's too many of them. Not enough people working from home and able to like vacation all the time anymore. And money's getting tight, which means people are going to go for budget vacations, which means you're just not going to have the demand you need to charge your $1,000 a night to keep your vacation home running. A couple weeks ago, we talked about there's that TV show where they renovate Airbnbs, so you maximize the money. And one of them was in the Canadian side of Niagara Falls. And they're like, hey, when it's done, you can make $2,000 a night. There wasn't a single home in Niagara Falls available for more than, I think, 360. So those people are obviously not making $2,000 a night off their vacation rental. They're making at most $360 a night because that's the way it is. And that's probably reasonable. I mean, if you don't have the services of a hotel where you've got, someone to clean, shampoo being provided, they take care of your linens, all that stuff. But you get the privacy of your own home to use, full kitchen, pool. And you're doing trade-offs there. So, keeping it on par with a fancy hotel room, that's probably right. Or that's at least a competent hotel room. A king suite, as it were. That makes more sense. But the days of people being able to charge thousands of dollars a night for a vacation rental, it's not a mansion on the water in Maui. Those are just over. I don't see it happening anymore. So all those people, they've got huge mortgages and they're expecting to be booked 20 days a month, and they're finding themselves booked 5 days a month at, a tenth the price. That's just, you're screwed. Chris Taylor, Houston. Have you heard Sears Holding shares have held at Computer Share transfer agent have disappeared and moved to M3? What do you think or know about that? Yes, so I got the notice from people who are freaking out because their Sears shares had vanished from the Computer Share accounts. And then 2 days later, the announcement was made to them that no, they switched transfer agents and now it's M3. Your shares are over there. I think it's good news in that the equity holders are still expected to keep their equity, right? If it was bad news, they would just delete everyone's shares and that would be it forever. But they moved transfer agents, so they're like, you still want to hold this stuff. We still need to keep a record of it, so it's over here now rather than there. That's all it is. So I think it's okay. At first, I was like, everyone wants us to DRS, and they just deleted everyone's computer shares out of their account. Yeah. But I think it's okay. Taylor Reed, not financial advice, but what are your investments you hold in the pending crash that may occur in 2024? I've got my meme stocks. I've not done anything about DRV, UVXY, stuff like that yet. Sort of waiting before I dump anything there. I was hoping something would pop by now, even just moderately, and that would give me a nice little egg I can throw at other things. But like you all, I'm just sitting here doing this, just waiting for something to happen. And I hope that something pops in time for me to benefit from shorting the market when it finally eats dirt. Fabrizio? Plop. Fabrizio, are you on Twitter? No, I got kicked off Twitter for being mean to Nazis. And I have no plan on going back at this point. It's just a bunch of Nazis on Twitter doing Nazi crap. And, Elon's a friggin' anti-Semite. And I have no interest of being over there anymore. And as people start to flood into the alternatives, they've gotten better. They're starting to get accounts that I followed on Twitter are like, I'm never posting to Twitter again, and are posting on places like Blue Sky. Hey, fat boy, want to come say hi? Come on. Come on, fatty. Come on, you chunk of lard. Come here. Yeah, there you are. Are you going to go there? Okay, take it while you can. All right. Butthole. Okay. Decatur Raw, 5th again, darn it. Hi, Birthday Houston. Can you speculate on how the stock BBBYQ is trading now that it's in the export market? Experts are buying it and selling, and other people can be. You can sell yours, but you can't buy it, which I think is just let's do for the export market. Someone was showing the velocity of shares, like what comes in, what goes out, showing that the majority of what's happening is buying and not selling, and therefore the price should be going up. But what did the price do today? I forgot to actually pay attention to that part. I've been trying to buy more, and Fidelity will not let me. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? So yeah, 18 cents went up a little bit. It was at 17 to start the day, and had a low of 16.25, which is about where I was trying to buy on Fidelity, and they wouldn't let me. Yeah, it's barcoding, so it's definitely like bing, 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 because the number of people who are institutions who are allowed to buy are very few and far between. And so I can't imagine anybody selling at this point. Like, I just can't imagine you folks or people be like, oh, well, it's 18 cents, I guess I'll sell. It's so low that you may as well take your full loss on it if it's going to be a dud, right? And I do wonder if it is going to be allowed back into the normal market, because the excuse that Fidelity gives is that they didn't submit the reports, but they submitted an 8K, and that's what they're required to do. So bring it back. I just want to pick up several thousand more shares if I can, or let it drop to a penny, then bring it back to the normal market, and I'll buy it hundreds of thousands of shares. First name, last name, Houston. Who controls the computer's servers that put out the live stock market information to the masses? Is it possible they can be manipulated? Maybe the exchanges themselves, right? So you have New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, but then you got these little ancillary exchanges like IEP and Apex and stuff like that. Those are who report, and they're definitely manipulated. I mean, they're manipulated through high frequency trading. They're manipulated through dark pools. But I think what you're alluding to, are they literally manipulated because somebody at the computer at one of those places is just fucking with it? Entirely possible. I don't think I'd want to be the person busted for doing that. But, so many sociopaths and psychopaths end up working in the industry anyway. I wouldn't put past anyone to do something like that. I just think, I would hope that as far as criminality is that they're smart enough to do the criminality on the fringe that gets them a slap on the wrist for shorting naked stock or something. But if you're directly inside the computer going I'm changing this stock price all day long physically in how it reports, that's the type of thing that gets you thrown in jail for 100 years. You get Bernie Madoff jailed for that. So I would think that there's someone with a little more self-preservation than doing that. Hey, buddy, what's up? What's up, monks? Huh? You gave up the seat, but now you're here, and you're give me the eye of a dog who wishes she hadn't given up her seat. That's okay. You have to live with your choices there, bud. Scott Lumley, Houston, pizza or tacos? Tacos. I like pizza. Don't get me wrong. I work at my friend's pizza joint. It's delicious. But tacos, I'd much rather do tacos every day of my life than pizza. Yeah. Go anywhere in the world, there's pizza. You can't always get tacos everywhere in the world. You go live in Europe, you will crave Mexican food so much. You're oh my God, there's just no Mexican food. This sucks. Then why Mexican food has not spread like sushi and Thai food and pizza, and burgers, I don't know. It is amazing. The ingredients are simple. It's tasty. Yeah, my old roommate was from England, and he'd been in the U.S. for 8 years before going back to England to visit family. And he said the entire 3 weeks he was back in England, all he wanted was a burrito. And it was the one thing he couldn't get. And he just was I don't know how I lived my first 30 years of my life in England without burritos in my life. And he realized 3-4 days a week, he's getting a burrito for a meal. It puts a craving in you, I think, more than pizza does. Bex Houston, how was your weekend? Good. Went for a walk in the forest, my sister and her boyfriend, and then hung out with my dad. And then yesterday, Monkey Butt and I went looking for Asian pears and Italian plums, and we gorged ourselves on those. And then we hung out with my mom, and just kind of a chill weekend. It was lovely. And for some reason, I had the anxiety of each night. I was like, I should have done something this weekend. What am I forgetting? And I realized, I'm not forgetting anything. I didn't have to do anything this weekend. I just eat some Italian plums and enjoy my life. How was your weekend, Bex? Money or Mayo, I microdosed of pizza packets last night. Pizza pockets? Pizza packets. Pizza in a packet? Scott Pollen. Interesting GameStop price action today. Back to my buy window, so I'm moving some money around to buy. All right. Woo! What did I... Man, I'm I cannot remember what prices things were today. I have to keep looking them up again. Back to 17.57. So dropped about $1. 67 cents. Interesting. Very interesting. Allegro Grub, Houston. Where should one put their 401k if they're about to retire? I don't want to lose in the coming crash. Also, what are the top blue chips that make up the S&P 500 again? S&P 500, they're talking about realigning it, but currently 32%, or was it 27%? Crap, which one was it? Might be 27% of the S&P 500 is just 5 tech stocks. It was Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, and Apple, I think. It was those 5 stocks are 27% of the S&P 500. And then the rest, there's not a single stock more than 5% or something of the other 495 other stocks that are in the S&P 500. So it's heavily weighted towards those 5 tech stocks, which is one reason why we've not seen it crash and burn the way it probably should. Because other stocks are contracting, but those powerhouses are not. So it's keeping the S&P 500 afloat. It's sort of like an artificial buoy. Where should you put it if they're about to retire? If you're about to retire, what you want is annuities, right? You want dividends and annuities. I would do an even spread of dividend stocks, or at least index funds that give you healthy annuities. But if things are about to crash, and again, not financial advisor, not financial advice, but I think myself with a 401k would want cash, and when everything drops, jump back into those dividend stocks. Because even dividend stocks that will pay well through a recession, their price will still drop because people have to sell things to pay for stuff. So you might have a stock, let's say a health insurance stock that's paying out 18%, right? Just something bonkers, because that's what health insurance stocks do. Well, they'll still drop. Their stock price will still drop. And so momentarily that stock will be paying out 30% when it drops. So that'd be the time to go back in and scoop it up. And that way you get just crazy returns compared to the rest of the market on it. In 2009, the S&P 500 dropped to, the Dow. The Dow dropped to 6,000 and change. And then shortly thereafter, back up in the 20s and 30,000s. So if you bought in down there with dividend stocks, then the value of the stock will go up 3x, and the earnings per share you get will be insane. So those are the things to look at. Jason Blackwell, Houston. Why? Oops, Jason, I used your whatever terrible joke you're about to do to me, just okay. Hey Houston, why are European cars the lightest? Because they don't have any Americans in them. Oh, it's so true. Oh my gosh. And Stuart, Houston, do you know that Syracuse is some sort of artificial lava laboratory? Yeah, someone sent me a video of a guy in their lava laboratory. I think it's cute. Their lava laboratory is really it's adorable. They take a big old vat of like sand and just pour glass, and then they watch it move downhill. It's like, ooh, wow. If you really want to study lava, just go to school at Hawaii. all the love you can want, you'll get sick of the stuff. You just see it just farting out of the earth constantly, and you can poke it with a stick and pick up with a hammer and slap it into some buckets, and it's more exciting than making glass without the glass blowing portion of it, which is what the lava lab looked like to me. It was adorable. It was cute. If you're in New York, you have access to lava, you're gonna have to make some, right? But then you also have to live in Syracuse, which, you know, if you're from Syracuse, you know what I mean. Squamps! I heated up a frozen cauliflower pizza and ate it like a cookie because I was in a rush. The economy is frightening. Squamps, I can always count on you for a complete non sequitur, and thank you. Thank you for that. The cauliflower pizza crust isn't that bad. I mean, it's not the best, but it serves a purpose. Kind of crumbles a bit. Doesn't have that whole gluten-y holding the pizza together energy that, you know, makes pizza pleasing. Is it Factory? Hey Houston, I'm starting a new workout. Every time there is a market manipulation, I'll do one push-up. You're going to be so strong. Trace Spider, have you talked to Rose recently? What about her take on the MTLP saga? I've not spoken to her beyond like how you doing texts. We should see if we can get her back on the show again and grace us with her presence. So I should do that. Put that on the to-do list. Lee Meadows, hey Houston, hope you're doing well. Thank you for reposting my fundraiser on Reddit at 100 pounds now. 5 days left. Yes, Lee is still trying to get a motorized scooter. If you guys remember, he got hit by a car. NHS in the UK he's trying to get surgery. NHS is like, well, you know, maybe you don't need surgery, but he still can't move around very well, so he needs a mobility scooter. You know, he would hope to get a nice brand new one, but those are like 10,000 pounds or more. So he's trying to get his hands on at least a used mobility scooter so he can move around because the dude's crippled. He's in pain. So if I can find the link again for it. I gotta go to Reddit. That's where he sent it. Okay. Wink, come on. Where is it? Open. Open. It's just DMs. How hard is it to open that? Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. And so if you'd like to donate and help Lee get a mobility scooter, please help the man out here. Boom. This is his PayPal page. So he's trying to raise some money and get a mobility scooter. So help the guy out. You know, it's gotta suck not being able to move around. And I know you guys are good folks, and you help him do that. So links in the chat. By all means, hit up, help Lee out, help him get that mobility scooter, and get moving around. Okay. Scott Pollen, GME price and AMC price back in lockstep. I'm going to rerun a Hurst exponential analysis to see if the theorized basket swap is still impacting the price of these two unrelated companies. Collateral swap or other swap between GME and AMC. I'm wondering what happens when AMC price goes to zero, which I think is entirely possible. I do think they'll run really well when they give their earnings report. So the earnings report is November? Remember correctly, like November 7th or something. So I think it's very likely I'll probably buy some weeklies, calls that are like just out of the money and get as many of them as I can. And the minute they announce the price will rocket, I will sell those suckers and be happy. So that's probably where I'm going to go there. Michael Harrow, Houston, the DRS talk is picking up speed on the BBBYQ space calls. What do you think? That's what I think. I mean, there's two things that will happen with BBBYQ. One, equity holders are completely annihilated in the restructuring, and what we have is gone. And that leaves that. The other thing is they come out of bankruptcy and there's crazy sales. I don't think you need to be registered to make that happen in a potential squeeze. It seems kind of unnecessary to me to take stock that's worth nothing and then DRS it when it's either going to get vaporized and you did all that work for nothing, or it's going to squeeze like crazy and you're in the process of waiting for the DRS to go through. So, meh. I don't care. Yeah, DRS if you want, but I'm not going to bother on this one. Deb, hello from Missouri, Houston. I enjoy your show. Fantastic, Deb. My mom went to school in New Jersey. She went to Stevens College, Missouri. Scott Pollen, DRS with the transfer agent is the safest equity account type that exists today. Yanni, yo Houston, did you see that sudden crazy 2-year treasury yield spike? Someone dumped a lot of bonds in the dead of night. I did not see that, Yanni. 2-year treasury. So can I do display 1 day? That's showing me the last several months. That's not what happened over the last day. Display studies. It says 1 day. 1 month. Yeah, that doesn't help. 1 day chart. I want to know what happened today. All right. No close coupon. That's not helping me at all. Or CNBC, your website sucks. I went up a little bit on the day. Doesn't look too crazy though. I don't know. I'll have to look into this more. Doesn't look that like, opened higher. Not an insane spike because there are bigger spikes throughout the day, but bounced right off where yesterday's close was. I don't know. I'll have to look at that more. It's factory. This is when the show started, so I am 38 minutes behind. It's factory. Andrew Stewart, Houston. Tell the ding dong viewers to like and subscribe. You ding dongs, like and subscribe. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Invite your friends, send it to people, repost the video, become a member, join the green team and become a member. Spay and neuter your pets and I don't know, help old ladies across the street. There you go. There's your to-do list. You'll have to go down there. Bitcoin, don't install emergency tracking in stealth planes. Save $12 per plane. I mean, like, that's the problem with your stealth plane is like you eject and that thing keeps flying. Well, radar's not going to see it. If the transponder's turned off, well, there you have it. Do the black boxes ping when it crashes like commercial jets do? Or the black boxes still stealth or something? My guess is in the ocean. That's my guess, because you have enough people in South Carolina where they're searching that they'd be like, yeah, I heard an explosion and I saw a fireball go in the sky and the forest is on fire. That stuff seems like it should be fairly evident. If you don't have those things, then it's in the ocean. So look there, be my suggestion. Or in Cuba, because the pilot's lying and a Cuban is actually on the jet with him and he flew it to Cuba and now the Chinese have it and blah, blah, blah. Scott Polignani, I saw that late night for us, midday overseas. That was a foreign holder of bond selling, in my opinion. I'm talking about the 2 years. Yeah. Zia Trades, Houston. I feel like all this talk about DRS lately is too much in correlation possibility of Teddy becoming a thing. It could be correlated. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, people talk DRS all the time, and that just seems to be what they do. So, I don't know, Kat. What about you? What do you got going on? You have gunk in your fur, dude. Why do you have gunk in your fur? What are you doing? Get that gunk out. You little mountain of a cat. That cat's so fat. You can just see how fat he is in the screen. Just look at you. Look at this thing. Blub 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 blub. Blurb 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 blurb. You're just a fat boy. Oh, you breathe heavy and you're huge. Why are cars so light in Europe? There's no troop of Batmans in them. That's why. KYP's here. Hello. Martin Weiss. A man explained to his doctor, you have to help me. I think I'm shrinking. Now settle down, the doctor calmly told him. You just have to learn to be a little patient. I saw a skeet. Sorry, it's from Blue Sky. They skeet over there, where they talk about Lauren Boebert. So if you guys haven't seen Lauren Boebert, basically was getting was hooting and hollering, getting felt up and giving a hand jibber while at a showing of Beetlejuice in Denver, and someone was like, "Well, Lauren's date and Beetlejuice, their nights both end the same way with a little head." You have to watch Beetlejuice, I guess, to get that joke. But that's a good one. Louis says hit the like button. Agree with Louis. Squamps. Had a cool dream. I was in a hurricane. Then I was in one East Coast. While you're up there, did you experience Hurricane Lee? Gardner said that he lost his power for about a day. But he got to surf 30-foot waves or whatever the day before, so he's probably pretty happy. Michael Harrow, ever hear the Weird Al song for Yoda set to the Kinks' Lola? I don't think I have, but that makes sense. Yoda. Lola. Nearly crushed my spine. All right. Snort alert. Oh, Houston, you sound pretty raspy. Do I? I forgot to refill my water. As I'm able to take any sips of water, and I'm looking at my empty glass thinking, I should take 10 seconds and go fill some water. Which means I can try this experiment thing again where I tap it and it inserts an ad. So I can make money while I get water. I'm going to do that because I actually need water. So I'm going to go fast. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Did it add? I have no idea what happens when I do that because I don't see anything on my end. It's just I click a button and supposedly something happens. So did an ad actually show up when I did that? Because I don't know. Or was it just stare at an empty chair and I hit a button for no reason? And that's where we are. Okay. Snort alert, also happy birthday. Kyle Gearbaldi. Since Melvin Capital went under after GameStop and Robinhood is worth 10% of what it was when it opened, how is Kenny G being held responsible for his part? The SEC closed their case. Honestly, I don't know. I do not know. I mean, the only way to truly hold him responsible is to force him to close positions, buy the securities he sold but has not yet purchased, right? So that's the only way. This is the only way to make him pay, is to literally make him pay. Like, go out there, buy those securities. You've got 10 days. Do it. If you want to boost the stock market, you tell Melvin they've got to go close those positions. Stocks will go whee as he closes all the stuff he sold. But it's not just him. We see banks like Bank of America, right, has 200 billion securities sold but not yet delivered, right? So everyone's doing it. There's gonna be a comeuppance at some point over all of this, and I just want to know when, how, why, when it will be. Just make it happen. Calgary Baldy, happy birthday, Houston. Kadian, Colt 45 or Old English, which is the best malt liquor? You're asking a dude who doesn't drink and has never drank and has no plans on drinking. I would guess Colt 45, just because Old English is also a furniture polish, and I would reckon that somebody in the past has accidentally guzzled furniture polish thinking it was malt liquor. That's the only criteria I'd have on that one. I do remember being on the bus once where there was a guy who just kept saying, "I love my dogs. I love my dogs," and he was clutching 2 bottles of Mad Dog 2020. So, I mean, that sounds like a fantastic review right there for malt liquor. But yeah, if you want to smell like a homeless person, malt liquor breath is the way to go, though. Chris Stedman, how's it, Houston? Regarding BBBYQ, will we know the ultimate outcome within 2 weeks? Also, DRS necessary. As far as DRS goes, do it if you want, whatever. But it sounds like 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, we should know something. They've basically got 2 weeks to implement it whenever they want. They can implement it like, we're implementing tomorrow. Or they could wait the full 2 weeks to implement it. But my gut, my big old juicy gut, is telling me that there's going to be changes to the plan submitted in the docket somewhere to be like, gotcha, somewhere. That's what my gut's telling me. My gut could be completely wrong on this one, but it could be hopium just clouding my brain. But I think something weird's going to happen that's going to be delicious and thumbs upable. So these guys sit around and wait. Louis, yo, Kyle, SEC is different than the FBI. That's true. The FBI could still be investigating. The SEC could be like, well, we're impotent. And that's just where they went with that. Excited Box. I slept on my arm like 2 months ago and haven't been able to use my hand since. It's about 60% back to normal now. That sounds like you squished a nerve as well. I was very much a stomach sleeper for a long time. And I had a problem where I'd sleep on my stomach and my right arm would bend under me and my elbow would get completely swollen. I actually in college missed a start playing baseball because I slept on my arm wrong and my elbow took all day to like get the normal. I could not throw a baseball. So I had trained myself that if I slept on my stomach, my arm would just dangle off the bed. And so that's how, if I do find myself on my stomach at all, my arm is dangling off the bed. So I sleep on the side of the bed. If you're looking at the bed, it's the right side, so that if I do sleep on my stomach, my arm can dangle off. Because that's how I trained myself in college to sleep. So, yeah. I mean, I get, like, I wouldn't call it restless leg syndrome. I would say that with my particular mattress, which is a very comfortable memory foam mattress, there's a position I get myself in when I'm on my back where my butt cheeks press into the bed, and I think it presses a nerve on my legs, which, make them kind of twitch, and I've got to reorient myself and like let the blood flow back into my legs. It's very weird. I'll get it to like my desk here is shaped in an L, and I've got a tray that my keyboard's on, but my mouse pad's on the right side of the L. And if I rest my arm weird, the edge of the desk will go right here on my elbow, and all of a sudden, like my finger will just start moving on its own without my brain telling it to. And I think, oh my God, I have Parkinson's or MS or something. And I realized that I just pinched off the nerve in my arm, and my finger will do that for a while because my arm's basically asleep and it just doesn't know what to do. So anyway, sleep so that your arm dangles off the bed. That should be how it fixes. Michael Harrow Houston, did you see the F-35 plane flying without a pilot anywhere? I mean, if I did, I wouldn't know there wasn't a pilot in there. I just assume if I see a jet flying above that there's somebody flying it. But this day and age with UAVs and all that, you really can't be sure, right? So, my roommate has the teapot boiling, and it's still boiling. There they go. All right, they got it. Martin Weiss, never dated tennis player. Love means nothing to them. I got talking about, so I have a cousin who was a professional tennis player, Will Ritter. And, he was ranked and everything for quite some time. But he has a record, and he has lost more professional tennis matches than any player in history. So he's the losingest professional tennis player of all time. He comes from a very, very athletic side of the family, though. His dad, my uncle, Chris, he was drafted by the Yankees out of high school and by the New York Giants out of college. He went off and played center field for Cornell in the 60s. Problem was that in the early 60s, they oftentimes didn't draft college players in Major League Baseball. They're like, oh, they're too old. They want the 17-year-old they can have up pitching at 19 in the league, and then they can maintain their contracts for a long time back then, free agency and everything. And so he got drafted into football, and he's like, yeah, football's going to destroy my body. I have no interest in doing that as a career. So he went to med school, became a doctor. And then like age 29 or 30, when the Expos became an organization, they had open tryouts for the Expos as an expansion team. He went to the tryouts and lied about his age, because back then you could lie about your age and you could forge driver's license and stuff all day, and got signed into the Expos organization, was moving his way up when he eventually encountered a coach who had coached in college and knew how old he was and told the team, and they fired him. So then my uncle went back to being a doctor and having a private practice and everything. But I remember at my sister's wedding. So Chris, my uncle, was quarterback at Cornell and played center field for the baseball team. And my sister's wedding, my uncle's, it's like 2008, so he's probably 65 or 70. And we're tossing a football back and forth. It was like we did this barbecue for the wedding rehearsal dinner. And this dude was throwing a football to me, and it felt like he was going to crack my sternum when I caught it. It came at me so hard and so fast. Holy shit. I don't think I've ever felt a football feel that heavy in my entire life. That's the difference of like when you get to that level of just athleticism. It's insane. I mean, I could throw a baseball like that. I could not throw a football like that. I was like trying to throw a football as hard as I could, and it just, I don't know, the look on his face was like, that's cute. But my goodness. Anyway, losing his tennis player of all time. Coffee, Donuts, and Homer. Keeping track of Chinese IPOs is something else your intern could do. Get on it, you fat piece of crap. Right? Oh, I'll just scratch your belly instead of paying attention to Chinese IPOs because you're so adorable. Yes. Oh, he's such a cute little chunk. Oh, there's a Jose Rosario. Will BBBYQ an expert in order to control FOMO? will keep BBYQ an expert in order to control FOMO. Probably. But like if they restructure and emerge, they'll be able to probably go right back onto the NASDAQ. So they won't be able to keep an expert mode anymore at that point. Oh, buddy, you doing a little coughing? Do you need your pill? Yeah? My asthma sucks, doesn't it, bud? I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh. So it does... Totally, this cat broke me as far as dry heaves go with the cat. Like, they started doing the roll. I'm like, ah! So when I first got him, I kept like throwing him into the bathtub, and then nothing would come out. And he would dry heave again like an hour later. I grab him, throw him in the bathroom again, and nothing would come out. And so I finally called the vet. I'm like, look, this cat is dry heaving. Nothing's coming out. He's been doing it for a month, and I'm afraid there's like a football-sized hairball in there. You just can't get out. So we go to the vet. She like stethoscope, kitty chest. She's like, oh, he's got asthma. That's a cat coughing. So the cat coughing and cat puking are the exact same sound. And now, if one of the other cats were to do this, my brain, the circuit in my brain that worries and grabs a cat, throws them onto linoleum, no longer exists. So kitty barf just shows up as a result. You broke that. You creature of the night. Okay. All right. Where was I? All right. That's Lee Meadows. We're getting back to where we were here. Scomp's talking about hurricanes. Cook Baldy, Martin Weiss. Okay, there's Coffee Donuts and Homer. All right, there we are. Not my name, Houston. Did you see the video of the two police officers accuse an 11-year-old of selling child porn? No. That sounds disturbing on about 500 different counts there. But no, I have not seen that. Lee Meadows, all eToro is saying is you can only sell because they are not receiving prices from their liquidity provider. Oh, as far as BBYQ is concerned, yeah, it's in the expert market. So especially like European brokers, I don't think know what to do in that case. Frozen State Productions, I just want to say hi, Houston. Even though my Dodgers swept the Mariners do have a better than 50% chance of making the playoffs. Nice. Yeah, we got creamed by the Dodgers this week. The bullpen sucked. Pitching is supposed to be our thing because our hitting is not that great. And pitching failed us miserably. I don't know what the Mariners were doing on Saturday night, having Munoz come in like the 6th. Munoz should be our closer. The dude throws like 104. He's got nice low ERA. Put him at the closer, put other people in front of him, and that's how you stack your bullpen. I don't want the Mariners. The Mariners are like doing closing by committee or something, and just pick a closer, stick with it. Those guys will kick ass in the 9th inning, and then never put your closer in when there's a tie. That's another rule. Never put your closer in if you're in a tie, ever. So you're in the 9th inning, you're tied, 3-3. Put someone else in, not your closer. Your closer, the way their brains work, they only pitch well when they're ahead. If they're not ahead, something goes wrong in their head, in their brain, and they don't know how to pitch anymore. So never, ever, 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 ever put your closer in when you're tied. Only put them in at the end of the game when you're ahead, and you're good to go. Should make a book of rules about how to manage a pitching staff, because some of these guys, yeah, you pitch really well in your career, but when it comes to managing pitching staff, you don't know what the hell you're doing. I lost my spot again. Oh, there we go. Okay. Coffee, Donuts, and Homers. Anyone here still on Super Stonk? I think Parataran might be one of the mods now. He just mentioned something about it yesterday, about setting up like rules and stuff with Super Stonk. I don't see him in here today, though. Parataran, if you're here, let us know. Coffee, Donuts, and Homer, is there a Reddit site that hasn't been taken over by Citadel? It's so much cheaper to take over a Reddit subreddit than it is to like close your positions. Because let's face it, you're a Redditor. You've got power and influence over however many tens of thousands of people may be in your big subreddit. Maybe a few 100,000 if you're one like Super Stonk. All it takes is someone from Citadel to go, hey, make me a Redditor, make me a moderator. And you go, I don't know who you are. They're like, I'll give you $100,000. And you're like, so fucking sold. I don't care. I go buy more GME with that. And it's so easy. So easy. Like the price to play in that situation is so cheap. It's why it's cheaper to pay someone to write a Market Watch article or a Seeking Alpha article demonizing one of your shorts than it is to like close your position. Like you can pay that guy $10,000 to write an article. He'll write those articles all day long at $10,000. Publish it. Your stock sucks. And it's cheaper than closing your position. If you got to spend $20 billion closing a position, or you can spend a couple $100,000 buying subreddits and getting articles published on Market Watch, you're going to do that, right? That's just the cost. It's a tax write-off too. Like, hey, it's a business expense. I paid for this, and that we're going to get a tax write-off on that sucker. So they're going to do that. And Coffee Donuts and Homer says, moving BBYQ expert market kills FOMO from retail. Exactly. Coffee, I'm still in Super Stonk, but I spend a little time over there these days. That's from Louis. Coffee Donuts and Homer, is David, the architect from Twitter, still actively pushing BBYQ? I don't know who that is. So I don't know. I'll be able to answer your question. Tim Saunders, Elon won't be able to charge for it. I mean, he'll try. Yeah. Cameron Mirza, happy birthday. What happened with the casino hacks in Vegas? Ransomware got into MGM, Harrah's, and a couple of others. I think MGM said they're going to pay the ransom, but they won't tell how much it is, and they'll be able to release. But they basically manipulated somebody's security office to give them remote access to their computer, and then they just got in there and just locked everything down. So power went out, the machines all stopped, money can't transfer back and forth. They're holding the entire system hostage. So, how do you root that out? Well, you can try to pay trillions of dollars to have somebody go line by line of code through the computers, or you can just pay whatever fee it is that the hackers have in whatever cryptocurrency they're demanding. And it'd be interesting to see what cryptocurrency they choose to get paid in and how that gets tracked. Because almost all cryptocurrencies leave a trail as it goes from wallet to wallet, except is it Monero is the one like specifically for drug dealers to launder with. And that was the only one that you cannot see the blockchain at all. The blockchain is completely hidden. So maybe they'll ask for Monero. Curious. Kid Cadian Houston, what is your favorite malt liquor? Seriously, dude, I don't drink. Coffee Donuts and Homer, eating a frozen cauliflower pizza is frightening. Ryan Wynn, do you think BBYQ will have a merger acquisition soon? Yes. That is where my gut is leading me into this. Stephen McDonald, Glasgow Celtic Football Club, Scotland. Woo! With the Shamrocks. And Sober Dog and Steven, Shamrocks, Heart, Life. Check. Steve McDonald? Totally. 100%. Scott Pollen. AMC could recover. Think they need new leadership in order to do that, though. Definitely need new leadership. They definitely need leadership that cares about the company and enough that they're going to invest in it and tie their future to that investment. I think that's kind of what you need. Lee Meadows, thank you very much, Houston. I really appreciate it at the moment. I need to use my mom's mobility scooter to go to my doctor's and hospital appointments. That's the only time I get out of the house. Oh man, that sucks. So yeah, help Lee out. Let's see if we can get him into a scooter of his own. Scott Pollan, the debt interest is a huge anchor on the balance sheet. Talking about AMC. So AMC, they announced they raised like $347 million in their latest security offering. Cool. But they had $5.4 billion in debt, and now they're down to $5.1 billion in debt, and they still are going to owe like $700 million a year in interest on their debt. So 1 out of every $5 they make is going to be paying off interest on debt they have still. Like, they didn't make a dent. It took it from like $1.06 for every $5 they earn to $1 every $5 they earn is going towards interest. So they have a lot more, a long ways to go. They're gonna have to dilute so much to make the company viable, I think. C. McDonald, top tunes for today. Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here, Glasgow, Scotland. Okay. Chris Taylor's a proud ding-dong. All right, you ding-dongs. Scott Pollan, Steve McDonald, have you watched Pink Floyd live at Pompeii? I've not watched that. Nate Rosso, I think they found it in Williamsburg County. I'm close by. Jet, I guess, was an autopilot. Even my drone has auto return. You'd think a jet would have it too. I remember when the first DJI drones came out. A friend of mine got one. You'd like put like a GoPro on it, and you would fly it around, and then you'd like get it back, and then you take the GoPro out and plug in a computer to see what it saw. Like, you didn't have the active camera on it, and we had a house near the water by the ferry terminal, and he's like, check this out. It's like 2012, 2013. It's like this, takes out this giant Pelican case. Inside is this huge drone. It's like, this thing is like the coolest thing ever. It's got GPS in it, knows where we are. And he like launches it and goes, and he goes to like fly it over the ferry. And it just like, he's like flicking the thing and just keeps going, just disappears and just starts heading towards like West Seattle. Never came back. It's like, the minute it gets out of range, it's supposed to come back. And it just never did. It just disappeared. Just there it went. Buy $2,000 drone. So, those are the days. So I think they found it in Williamsburg County. Let's see here. F-35 found. Debris field located in Williamsburg County in search for... Okay, so this is 35 minutes ago. Boom. Williamsburg County, South Carolina, officials with Joint Base Charleston confirmed that debris from F-35 jet went missing Sunday has been located in Indiantown area of Williamsburg County. Officials said in a statement Monday evening the debris was located 2 hours northeast of Joint Base Charleston. Word. Members of the community should avoid the area as recovery team secures the debris field. Mishap is currently under investigation, and we are unable to provide any additional details. Blah, 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 blah. So... what is it about, like, the Southeast and losing important pieces of technology? Wasn't it also in the Savannah River when, like, a bomber accidentally dropped a live triggered nuclear bomb into the river that they, like, never recovered? They also dropped one in North Carolina? Somewhere in there. So, like, the Southeast, they love to lose very important pieces of flying apparatus. So it seems. Moo Poolin, the average Chapter 11 is 17 months, BBYQ next year. I think they're going for the end of this month from the sound of their plan. So, yeah, I think they're well below average as far as they're going with this one. I think they came in with the dip facility with a purpose. So whoever was behind the dip facility is like, this is exactly what I want to happen, and this is how we're going to get out, and then I'm going to have all of this. And that's what they're going for there. Lone Wolf, earthquake lights like biting down a Mentos in the dark. Or like chewing aluminum foil, one of those things. Squamps wasn't so bad at all, really. Just got smooched by some rain and startled highway traffic, as is tradition. All right. Grocery store is like empty of bananas and bread. That's how it happens when we have like gnarly storms come. Like the bananas and bread just disappears. I don't know why everyone wants bananas when there's like a storm coming, but for some reason they just cannot help themselves. They're like, must have bananas. I've never once felt the need to eat a banana when the power was out, but I guess I'm an outlier on that one. Sam McDonald, Beetlejuice, good film. Beetlejuice is a good film. Coffee, donuts, and homers, toppings sold but not delivered should be part of your investor bill of rights. That fits in with just no naked short sales. No naked sales, period. You cannot sell something you do not have. At all. Done. Solved. Right? Let's see here. We'll go to, nope. There. That's where I want to go. What are you doing? Oh. Go to there. Go to here. Go to there. Okay, create a blank. Let's just get this straight. All right, because I just need to make a list somewhere, and I might as well make a list right here. Thanks. All right. Investor bill of rights. Bam. Oops, that's supposed to be a colon. There we go. All right. 1. No naked short selling. Boom. 2. No dark pools. Bam. 3. No payment for overflow. Boom. No high frequency trading. Crap. Now I'm forgetting. Oh, make SEC have law enforcement powers. Make fines larger than crime. What else? What else, Fat Cat? There's like a dozen of them we should have in here. I had them on Twitter at one time, but my Twitter got annihilated, so now we're going to put it here. Okay. I'm sure the dark pools, high frequency trading. I guess you have law enforcement powers, make fines larger than crime. Give them to me, people. my brain is drawing a blank right now. So throw them my way, and I will keep the sucker updated. We'll actively update it as time goes on. All right. Want to think of something? Shoink. Okay. Excited box, I dangle my arm off the bed as well. Hey, welcome to the Arm Danglers Club, where the monsters under the bed will take a little nibble on their fingers, or just like that'd be scarier than anything. Like, I don't want to dangle my feet off the bed because of the bed monster. But if you dangle your arm off, they just sort of like, well, that would freak me out. Freak me out more than anything. Then like something biting my foot. No. Michael Harrow, if we do that sleep trick you talked about, but instead dangled or schlonger, sex may actually last longer. Well, don't you want to like make it go to sleep and then we'll just, I can't feel a thing. Lasting forever. Javier, good day. Do you think GME will run during this OPEX? They've been shorting it, so I feel a nice little bump. Get calls for $18. Stock price, fingers crossed. I think there's a good chance. It seems like they shorted it down after they had a decent earnings call, because it hit 21 and change, and they got down to bounce off of 17, and it's back down to 17 something right now. So that's it's a good little distance to have it run from and to. Scott Paul on Reddit is under private equity influence. There was a post about GameStop on the R Stocks page, and it was completely in line with other posts on the page, locked and deleted by R Stock mods. Yeah. I wish I could make a rule that's like eliminate private equity, but I don't think that won't ever happen. But seriously, if private equity disappeared tomorrow, the world would not be a worse place. If everyone who worked in every private equity firm and hedge fund just kind of just disappeared off the face of the earth, we would be fine. No great loss was had. There's a great clip someone posted. I guess in the early 90s, Robert Downey Jr. went and hung out on the stock market for a documentary. And he is, let's see here. Where are you? Here we go. Okay. Can I pause this thing? How do I restart you? And if I put sound on, there we go. All right, whoops. Yeah, see what I'm doing here. Okay.
If money is evil, then that building is hell. This is the most obnoxious group of money-hungry, low IQ, high energy, jackrabbit, fucking wannabe, big time, small time, shit talking, bothersome, irritating bunch of motherfuckers I have ever had to endure for more than 5 minutes.
It just cracks me up. All right. Anyway, go to Robert Downey Jr. All right. Raise innate. I'm pretty sure that's why they got rid of the gold and rewards on Reddit too, to hide these GME posts from reaching the front page. It is interesting that they got rid of the whole Reddit karma, giving people, snicks or high fives or whatever. That was very strange because it was like a business model for them. It's a way to get people to pay money to Reddit without having to pay for advertising or memberships. So I thought it was interesting that they got rid of it. Yeah. Squamps, no chickens, rain activates lizard brains. Okay. Ontario, Canada, first time here. What are you talking about? Ontario, Canada, I talk about whatever you want. You guys throw something in the chat. I read it and I talk about it. As long as it's not like, purposefully hateful or hurtful or something, then I'm just gonna gloss over those things or just ban you if you're just being a complete dick. But for the most part, just, if I got the answer to it, I answer it. If I don't have the answer to it, we figure out what the answer is. So that's what we do here. It's pretty easy. Whisker Biscuit. Why does your Seattle teams like to destroy my Detroit teams, MSU and Lions? I mean, I don't know if we'd be able to destroy University of Michigan, but MSU, I think a lot of people can destroy them in football. But yeah, the Seahawks had a crazy overtime win against Detroit, and the Huskies their quarterback has thrown for over 400 yards a game for every game he's played so far this year, which is good job. Way to go. So, yeah. Scott Paul heard they had good gravy fries in Ontario. They have pretty good gravy fries in Ontario. Poutine. When I've gone to my family land up in Timmins, the way to get there is you take this road. It's like 200 miles between towns. Seriously, it's just like boreal forest and chipmunks trying to run back and forth across the road. And that's all you see for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles. And you get to a town. And the town is kind of like usually kind of tundra-ish, wherever the town is, because they took down the trees, they logged those, and then they have a few sparse buildings. And then they just get horrible winters, so not much. It takes a long time for something to grow out of that. And like one town is English, the next town is French, the next town is English, the next town is French. And every single one of those towns has a fries and cheese curd stand, a poutine stand, at the beginning of town and at the end of town, and it seems very particular as to like which stand people are loyal to. So the town gets like divided by who they go to for their fries, gravy, and cheese curds. And then you get to the French towns and they all pretend like they don't know what you're saying. At the time, I was dating this one time. I was going up there. I was dating this girl. I thought it was funny until I sent her like 100 postcards along this road trip. Like everywhere I stopped for gas, I get a postcard, send it to her, describe like what I saw, what gas station I was in, whatever. And I get to this little town, this little French town in northern Ontario, and I'm asking for a postcard. And the guy's like, eh? I'm like, a postcard, le poste. It's French. Like, come on, dude. Don't be a dick. You know exactly what I'm talking about. He's like, fine. Here's your postcard. But, yeah. Vox Stoy King TT approval thoughts. They're the ones that T2 Biosystems. They've got the test so they can test for the fungus that's killing people. So you can use it in a hospital, test surfaces, test people, figure out the fungus is there. Did they get approval today? B says up 46%, more than just meme stock nonsense. I've got a bunch of calls for November 12th, whatever that is, for $2.50 is the cheapest, the lowest calls they had, $2.50. I have a bunch of those. The price went from 1 cent to 8 cents today. Bounced a couple of times and held at 8 cents. So did they get approval? Investor's Place. Stocks climbed 40% after the Food and Drug Administration ruled the company can sell its sell its biothreat test. Boom. There you go. So, all right. So they can start selling their product. They just need to get above $2.50 to really make a difference here. So let's get them over $2.50, shall we? Shall we? Because they're at 43 cents or so. What do they do after hours? Let's yeah. Went from 35, peaked up at 46, closed at 46, and then whittled down, bottom out at 38, hung out at 40. So yeah, just 5x that thing for me, 6x it, and get me over 250, and then I'll be happy. All right, let's do that. Do it. Now they can sell a product now, and they can make a bunch of money off of it. So rise, chicken, rise. NDC on the East Coast, it's milk, bread, and eggs. Everyone must be making French toast. Lol. Yeah, I mean, like you will see other things this year, but it's really bread but for some reason bananas. Like we joke about it, like this store must be bad. As was that Safeway, and there were no bananas to be found. So bananas, they just disappear when you hear storms coming. Swamps, have you heard of a Lean Six Sigma agile product management methodology, like a doofy business scientific method? Scott Pollan, Six Sigma Black Belt Super Duper Lambda Squad. Six Sigma. Lean Six Sigma certification, University of Utah. Created Six Sigma. Six Sigma is a methodologies and tool used to improve business process by reducing defects and errors, minimizing variation, and increasing quality and efficiency. The goal of Six Sigma is is to achieve a level of quality that is nearly perfect with only 3.4 defects per million opportunities. This is the Wikipedia. boost increasing customer satisfaction. The term Six Sigma originates statistical quality control, a reference to the fraction of normal curve that lies within six standard deviations of the mean, used to represent a defect rate. Motorola pioneered Six Sigma, setting a Six Sigma goal for its manufacturing business. It registered Six Sigma as a service mark on 11th of June, 1991. December 28th, 93, registered Six Sigma as a trademark. Motorola attributed over $17 billion in savings to Six Sigma. Honeywell and General Electric, also early adopters of Six Sigma. Jack Welch made his business strategy. I mean, like, to get this, you have to not cut corners. A great book. If you guys ever read the Toyota Way, this, I mean, it's not calling it Six Sigma, but this is what Toyota basically did. The Toyota Way. This book here, it is it's been updated over the years, but it talks about, a large portion of it is talking about, you know, where the heads butt between American business and Japanese business in manufacturing. So the U.S. put these import laws onto cars, and so you could not import a certain number of vehicles. Once you got to a certain number of vehicles, you couldn't import anymore. You had to make vehicles in the U.S. And so Toyota did not at the time have any factories inside the United States. GM had the Fremont plant in California that was failing miserably. Those guys were, that's where Teslas are made now. Those guys were like doing hookers, doing blow, getting drunk, putting engines in backwards, just all sorts of crap coming in. Like the lowest quality vehicles in the world were coming out of the Fremont, California plant. And so GM signed a deal with Toyota that Toyota could build their cars there. And then they had a joint production for making things like Geos, Geo Metro, Geostorm, etc. That were like Subaru designs, Toyota designs, and then GME badging and manufacturing. Well, Toyota went in there and they're like, well, this workforce sucks. So they fired everyone. They fired everyone, all like 30,000 workers at the plant. They're like, all of you get the hell out of here. You can reapply for your job. And that workers were like, oh, screw you. But then like they went one by one, interviewed everyone, and if they're cool, brought them back in. And they like kept the I do hookers and blow during work hours people out. And then they went through and showed them how like Toyota quality control works. So, you know, at Toyota, they would, you know, say you have a drill press, right? You got sheet metal comes along, drill hole goes in, sheet metal moves on, and then like you do this thing and it fails. The drill bit gets too dull, it breaks, whatever. And so what they would do is they would test drill bits and they would drill them, you know, however many times it take to break the drill bit. And like, okay, so we did this 50 times. Like we did 40,000 drills 50 times, and every single time the drill bit broke at around 38,000 drills. So at 37,000 drills, we will stop the line, replace the drill bit every single time. And that's what they did. Like counter, and every time it did a drill, it would count. And when it got to 37,000 drills, they would halt the line. Someone would change out the drill bit, put a new one in, and they go another 37,000. They would have every person along the line had the ability to stop the production line. Hit a button, everything just halts, and everyone just stops and waits. Because if there's a defect, right? Someone put a transmission in upside down. Who knows? Like, if there's a defect of whatsoever, you would stop the entire line, you fix the defect, hit the green button, and the line will start moving again. Every person at the factory had the power to stop the line. And the GM people were like, this is insane! Like, you cannot stop building cars! And Toyota is like, look, dude, you guys put Regal front ends on an Oldsmobile Tornado and Chevy badging on a Buick. Like, this stuff is stupid. And what happens is the car either can't sell and has to get trashed, or if it does sell, there's so many problems with it that you lose money on the warranty. So if we just make the car right, then you never have to pay out in warranty ever again, and the car will always sell. And GM was like, but it worked. Like ended up being, within a few short years, the Fremont plant in California was producing the highest quality of vehicles in the entire U.S. market. Even amongst import vehicles, they had higher quality customer satisfaction. Anything. It's a pretty phenomenal book. I highly recommend it. well, this is about the management principles. The one that's about, yeah, okay, it's the same book. Okay, yeah. But like it's very interesting, and I think it would fall along that Six Sigma thing. It's just, you know, Toyota's like, hey, do it right the first time, they don't have to pay out in a warranty the second time. Ha! Not too hard to figure out there. Coffee Knows Arbor Down Jr. is the man, not just the Iron Man. Scott Paul and the Toyota Way. Oh, there's Scott Paul. Yeah, the Toyota Way. There you go. Scott Paul with the chat there as well. Yeah. Arbor Down Jr. Small time thinking they're big time motherfuckers. Upon then, what is this October 20th government bar date? Do you expect final news shareholders completely covered by then? We'll have to see. There were some of the leases that they weren't able to get rid of that they didn't want, and so there was time attached to that. But my guess is with the restructuring that, because all the restructuring is that the bondholders get made whole or as close to it as they can be to be satisfied. That's it. And so sometimes in like Chapter 7, you just liquidate everything, and the bondholders get what they get, and then that's that. Chapter 11, the bondholders oftentimes want equity. So that appears to be what they're going for here, is that they want the company. That's what happened when I was working for the Art Institutes. Goldman Sachs overleveraged the company. They had owned it. They took out billions in loans, had no intention of ever paying them back. And then all of a sudden, the lender was stuck with the company out of Chapter 11. They're like, we don't want this college. We just want our money. They got stuck with the college because they had all the equity. Because they got stuck with all the equity. In this case, it sounds like somebody wants the equity. So that's what they're going for. Now, they can restructure and leave bankruptcy and leave this turd behind that will still flounder in bankruptcy while everything else goes off and prospers and high fives and, you know, explodes in joy. So there can still be an entity left behind, this like nugget of poo that will never be able to pay anything back, that's stuck holding these leases that they can't afford and have no income to do anything about. And eventually the creditors are going to go, who are stuck with that, like the people who own the property, are going to be like, well, fuck it. I'd rather just find somebody to lease it to than be stuck with this, you know, bill that will never get paid. And that stuff works its way out. So there can be like slugs left behind after everything else emerges. So we'll see where it goes, Mpulin. Mudkip, I have an idea for raffles on Cherry Tuesday. Did you ever have that unboxing of all those things you ordered? You could open one for each charity show as a door prize. That's actually a good idea. I still have a whole bunch of 50-cent Wish stuff. I like that. I still have a plan of like doing 50 cent Wish unboxing videos. I need a space I can do it, because they have to be like have the overhead camera and a nice tabletop and like do it like they do for people who actually make money off of doing unboxing videos, but for just pieces of shit about from China. What do you think, Monkey? Do you think maybe perhaps, I don't know, possibly maybe this? Yeah, is that what you're thinking? All right. Meat sticks. Woo! There's that beefy smell again. Oh, it's so beefy, Monkey. So beefy. Okay. Want this one? Can you come get it? Oh, there you go. Into the Jaws cam. Dun-dunt. Dun-dunt. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. She got it. But my kip, I like that idea. Squamps, the Total Way is now my Bible. Board Gamer Houston, why are so many animals that are black and white don't see an evolutionary advantage? Well, it messes with eyeballs, that's for sure. So like zebra camouflage might not make any sense to us, but to the predators that don't see color, it makes fantastic sense. All right. So how zebra camouflage works. The wavy lines of zebra blend in wavy lines of tall grass around it. It doesn't matter. The zebra stripes are black and white, and the lines of grass are yellow, brown, green, because the zebra's main predator lion is colorblind. Boom. There you go. So if you're in tall grass and you're colorblind, you just don't see it. So the next evolutionary step would be for lions to get a third cone in their eye, and all of a sudden they can see color. And that would be advantage lion, right? So lots of times we might not be able to see certain camouflages due to what we can and cannot see. Like we look at a crow, and a crow is just black. That's all we see because we can't see in ultraviolet light, whereas crows can. And in ultraviolet light, crow feathers are way different. Maybe it's infrared light. Shit. Quit giving me ads. I'm trying to leave this page. Crows under UV light. Yeah. Crows under UV. Here we go. So crows have very distinct patterns under UV light. They will look completely different. So visible light, they look black. UV light, they'll have little markings and stuff on them. They can have like complete different weird iridescence and markings under UV light that we just cannot see because we can't see UV. So to us, they all look the same. But to every crow, you can have identifying markings on them so they know who their buddies are. And it all depends on how many rods and cones you have. Ants can see in UV light, so an ant could look at a crow and identify individual crows. Then you got weird things like mantis shrimp that have 16 rods and cones, probably like see radio waves and crap coming through space. So yeah, we have 3. Lots of see visible light colors. If you got 2 like a dog or a lion, you see grayscale. 1, I'm not sure we got out of 1. Probably just tell if there's like light in the room or not, I guess. But yeah, so a lot of camouflaging has to do with what the predators are. And some things that are naive, meaning they don't have any natural predators, then whatever markings they have could be sexual selection, etc. Like a dodo had no natural predators. It was just a giant pigeon, ground pigeon that lived in Mauritius, and its markings were probably entirely based upon like sexual selection and not actual camouflage. So yeah, that's why you have that. And then you have like harlequin and albino genes that run through stuff. So if you meet a cat that's white, like a white cat, most white cats are kind of deaf because they have a harlequin gene in them. Same thing with harlequin hounds. Might have pit bulls, Great Danes, even Catahoulas that are black and white. Oftentimes they're deaf as well because the genetics that follow along with the harlequin gene also makes it so that they usually can't hear. How else can we expand on that? But yeah, so the black and white, it is what it is. Camouflage is really crazy, especially like dazzling. You guys ever look at like dazzle camouflage? The stuff they had in like World War II ships, World War I ships. Come on, images, go. This stuff where you wouldn't be able to tell the bearing of a ship because of you couldn't tell which end was the ship. You couldn't tell which direction it was going. It was designed to give you like as many weird points as possible. And through a periscope would just mess with your brain. So the dazzle camouflage was really popular, and they discovered you can just make things gray, and then when it's like foggy outside, you just can't see anything. What was the one I saw the other day? It was oh yeah, this one. All right. See this image here? There is actually a whole bunch of jets in it. Here we go. Here's Reddit. So if you're to zoom in on this sucker, right? You have a jet. So at least several jets in here. How many? Oops. How many we got? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jets in here. But from far away, your brain really can't make it out necessarily. Camouflage is so weird how it works and just confuses your brain. Your brain just glosses right over it. So it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. All I have to do is just make it so it's not visible to whatever wavelengths of light you are used to, and then you're good to go. So a lot of black and white creatures, their predators can only see black and white, so they don't need to have like fancy other colors to hide. Dragon. Chinese food gave me bad stomach. Bummer, man. Here's something, Houston. Wendy's selling cheeseburgers for a penny. Just ate there for lunch. Oh, yeah. Next couple of days, Wendy's is selling burgers for a penny if you buy something else. So get your fill of Wendy's burgers. Closest Wendy's to me is like 20 miles away. So I've not made it out there to go get a penny burger from Wendy's. But have at it. Eat some Wendy's. And then other burger joints are doing some, like McDonald's is doing double cheeseburgers for like 50 cents. And Burger King's doing something else. We have the fast food wars, just like in Demolition Man. That's what's happening. Happy National Cheeseburger Day. Napoleon, can you explain the expert market, please? It sounds like just another way for dark pools, etc. to fuck over retail. That's all it is. There, you just explained it, Napoleon. Congratulations. You just explained it. It is ideally for pink sheet stocks. You go, oh, like we don't want customers to think they should buy this stuff because they might lose money on it. So we make it for experts only, meaning it's for institutions, funds, and accredited investors, people that have over $1 million and apply for accreditation. They can trade this stuff all they want because they're experts. They're not morons like you scum, you slime, you toe fungus. They're hoity-toity experts, so they cannot make mistakes because they're experts. They do things expertly. You are slime. You do nothing but experts. So they put this stuff in the expert market. And the entire point is to stop FOMO from causing the stock price to go up because the experts shorted these stocks like crazy. They want the ability to buy the stock to like cover or close positions. They just don't want you to have the ability to buy the stock and make it expensive for them to cover or close positions. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's stupid. Let everybody be an expert because screwing over the big guy should be the goal of everyone. Dragon Rimac Nevera car. Why so expensive for $2 million? Is Rimac the Czech car? Is that Rimac? Rimac Nevera. I mean, it's sexy looking. It's a sexy looking car. Why so expensive? Starting at $2.2 million. Super exotic Ferraris, McLarens, Lamborghinis are all victims of being less powerful and exclusive than all-electric Rimac Nevera. Croatia, not Czech, Croatia. Nevera costs millions, makes logic-defying loads of horsepower, and has production run limited to just 150 units. Chance of spotting one is likely as seeing a stripeless zebra. Speaking of zebras, using monocoque chassis and embeds channels of battery cells beneath its floor, its pair of electric motors at each axle generate as much as 1,813 horsepower and manage about 205 miles of estimated driving range. Its $2.2 million starting price is for fitting its uber-rich customers, one of them being F1 champion Nico Rosberg. While Nevera exists as a goalpost for automotive engineering, it makes us quite optimistic for what will inevitably be greater in the future. So my guess is expensive because A, they're probably all hand-built. So you got a team of like super science nerds in clean rooms putting this thing together one piece at a time. And B, they only make 150 of them, so they keep them limited. And, desire and scarcity. Their clients are the affluent. And the affluent there's an economics of affluence, meaning if you charge more for something, a really rich person who's got the discretionary income to buy it is going to buy it without even thinking about it, because they think, oh, this thing's 2.2 million. Obviously, it's better than that crappy Ferrari that's $200,000, even though it might not be better than that. But in their head, they go, fake rich people, they buy Ferraris. Real rich people buy Rimac Naveras. And yeah, the economics of affluence is really, really weird. Like during the economic downturn, it's like 2011. We're still in the economic downturn. Real estate prices are still garbage. I was listening to a Freakonomics podcast, and they were talking about the economics of affluence. And they're interviewing this guy who had a linen shop in San Francisco, like a high-end linen shop. And they're asking him, like, who are your clients? He's like, oh, filthy rich people. And like, what do you sell this stuff for? He's like, I sell it for like way above cost. Let me be honest. Like, I rip these people off. And like, interesting. Do you ever have sales? He's like, oh God, no. My clients, if they saw me have a sale, they would never shop here again. They come here because they know it's expensive, therefore it must be the best. And I had a roommate at the time who was a fly fishing guide. You know, the economy is collapsing. People don't have money. His fly fishing trips weren't getting booked because, you know, he would cater to like that middle manager who made good money, who could buy a fly fishing trip for vacation. And, you know, that was his like yearly vacation. But all of a sudden, middle manager gets laid off, or, you know, times are tough. They don't spend the extra money for the fly fishing guide. They may go fly fishing just without a guide. So my roommate was like, you know, he was charging, let's say, $1,200 for a 3-day river guided trip. And he wasn't getting people signing up. So he's cut it to $900. He cut it to $700. Still wasn't getting people. And I listened to this Freakonomics podcast about the affluent. And I was like, look, who you're trying to cater to doesn't have any money right now. Charge $5,000 for a 3-day guided trip and see what happens. And he was like, that's way too much money. I was like, no, just try it. So he went on his website. He changed the prices to like $5,000 for a 3-day trip and $12,000 for a 7-day trip and stuff. He started getting booked out like crazy. He was probably 2 to 3 times more expensive than any other guide in that area all of a sudden. But he was booking like mad because the rich people were just automatically looking for the most expensive trip. Therefore, it must be the best trip with the best guide, whether it was or not. They just didn't do their homework beyond this one's more expensive than the others. Obviously, it's the best. To the point he had to like hire on other guides to help him complete his trips because he had too many rich assholes trying to book them during this recession. So that is why that car cost $2.2 million. Is because rich assholes have $2.2 million to spend and they get a car that other rich assholes who aren't as cool can't have. That's it. That's the entire, that's the basis of it. And you know that if this car costs $2.2 million now, at auction it will cost $10 million 15 years from now. So those are the economics behind it. Economics affluence is a very weird thing. It kind of is based upon scarcity and perception. You know, like the Hermes bag that sells for $20,000 is made in the same factory as the Fossil purse you bought at Ross. Same factory makes the same purse with the same materials, and they cost about the same to make. But one costs $20,000, and one you find at Ross on sale for like $26. It's the same stupid materials, slightly different design, made in the same factory. Economics affluence. It's all about having that little badge to know that you're just that much better than the poor pieces of shit below you. And that's a large driver for a lot of rich people. Aaron Salentine, Houston. Can you look at ticker symbol CCG? What fuckery happened here? How does stock squeeze like that in just 1 hour? That, Aaron, is a Chinese stock. The warrants became tradable online today, and they went bonkers. Probably because whoever was the underwriter never got the shares delivered, just like every other Chinese stock, and there's immediate squeeze that happened. That's it. That's what happened. That's why we got to pay attention to which Chinese stocks become available. And if you have the opportunity to get some before they come available, oftentimes take it because, man, Scott Paulin, does Honda still make a production line supercar or just a Nissan GTR? They had come out with a new NSX. Acura NSX 2023. Do they still have it? Yeah, they still have the Acura NSX. So yeah, it's still there. It's a hybrid, 3.5 liter V6 hybrid in the whole ass. They look. I mean, the Corvette I think was designed a lot with it. It's like between the Corvette and the Audi R8 design wise. This guy here, mid-engine, also has batteries. Can't get into stick shift, so it's lame. Only got flappy paddles. I think they should make car racing stick shift only, so all the cool people drive stick shifts. That's what they should do. None of this flappy paddle business. Stick shifts only. You gotta get down there by your hip and throw some gears around. But yeah, they still make that. I still think the original NSX is way cooler looking. I think these ones are cooler looking. I don't know. I like my 80s and 90s cars though. That's my era. They're simple. They aren't too like, gosh. I think they're prettier looking cars. That is a prettier looking car than the current NSX, which looks like every other supercar out there. Mupolin. So what does this mean for coming out Chapter 11? Can they prevent FOMO? Is there some sort of H3 halt equivalent that can prevent us from our money? I mean, they can H3 at any time. That's one thing we learned. But it's likely that when they emerge from bankruptcy, they'll be seeking to go right back on the NASDAQ again. Because I think the entire point of doing this weird dip facility, FILO facility thing for bankruptcy and then having the bondholders get equity is to sort of avoid an IPO and able to get a stock traded on the market. That's what I think is happening. And my guess is that stock is related to Teddy and or GameStop, baby, whatever. And so it's a way of getting a stock into the market cheaper and easier than it ever would be trying to do an IPO for a NASDAQ related stock. So that's what I think is going to happen. Scott Paulin, I'm pretty sure the company is now Carcass Blank Slate SPAC. Stock ticker is more valuable than the assets or claimed assets. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be turned into a SPAC, I think, and that's what it's going to be used for. Well, heck, I made it to the end of the chat today. Woo! All right, Fat Cat, want to celebrate with flopping your little fat belly around? Oh, you little jiggly squisher. Yeah. Oh, you're such a little scratchy dude. That's right. Oh, you fat plug. He's so adorable. I got 6 minutes left. Throw stuff at me, guys. There's still quite a few of you in here. What you got for me? What shall we talk about? Monkey, do you have anything? Silent as always, stoic and silent. That's what we get out of the dog. I'm sure if Snoopy was here, he would yell something loudly 10 times a show. Yeah. So, what's on your mind? I'm tapped out. Mupolin, do you know how long it takes to get back on the NASDAQ post-bankruptcy? How long it take for Hertz? Okay, so Hertz was relisted November 9th, 2021. NASDAQ listed. So when they lose, Hertz emerges from bankruptcy. Hertz leaves bankruptcy 1 year after pandemic devastated. So this is October 25th. So they went 25th, 4, 5, 6, 9, 15 days. So from when Hertz came out of bankruptcy to when they got relisted on the NASDAQ was 15 days. So there, can be real quick. 2 weeks. There you go. So yeah, they relisted. They came out of bankruptcy October 25th, 2021, and then they got relisted on NASDAQ on November 9th. So 15 days. That's quick. So could be pretty quick for whatever comes out of this thing. Joseph Howard, quick BBBYQ synopsis, just got here. We're waiting to see if they do more changes to their plan, the plan. They did release a doc today onto the docket that says the equity holders will be satisfied with this plan, which implies equity holders will maintain equity, which is good. Peachy Sunday. It's just like Luxottica that makes all the glasses with the same material but charges extra depending on the plastic logo they slap on them. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. You know, like if you ever go to Hong Kong or Shanghai, you go to these like little side markets where the factories are selling off-brand stuff. You know, like instead of Adidas, it's Abibas. Instead of Nike, it's Mikey, right? You can go to the factory where they sell like Callaway Big Bertha drivers that, you know, are beautiful and they have a contract to make 100,000 of these golf clubs. And then you will find Callaway spelt with a K, the exact same driver with just a slightly different label on it for pennies. Because the factory owner's like, well, I got the tech to make as much as I want of this stuff. The customer paid for the materials, so I'm going to make as many as I can with the excess materials we got, and we'll just sell them on the black market. That stuff happens all the time. And then you've got, you know, the arbitrage of different luxury brands in different locations. So Costco got busted a few years ago. And you got buyers all over the place. They go all over the world trying to find like the best thing they can get for a particular product. Generally, you don't have too many options at Costco. That's one of the ways they reduce cost is like you'll find a basketball. It might be, I don't know, a Spalding basketball. It's the best basketball for the best price they can get. So they bought 1 million Spalding basketballs and distributed them to all their stores. You won't find Wilson. You won't find Voight. You won't find like other companies like Dunlop. You'll just find this one Spalding basketball. And if you want a basketball, that's the one they have. It's cheaper than you'll get anywhere because the profit, there's no profit essentially for the object itself. You're paying a membership and that's where they make their money. But their buyer had gone to South America and found a whole bunch of Rolex watches that are not available in the US, right? You buy a Rolex in the US, the cheapest Rolex in the US, let's say $5,000 and up to $1 million, right? But you go to like Bolivia, where the cheapest Rolex is like $400 and it's an authentic Rolex with a warranty and everything. And the most expensive one might be a couple $1,000s. So the buyer went and bought out like Bolivia of all their Rolex watches. And then they started selling them in the Costco stores, unlicensed and unapproved by Rolex for cheap. So people were like, oh my God, I get a Rolex at Costco for $800. I'm on it. And Rolex sued Costco to make sure they weren't allowed to do that stuff. It's like, you know, you might have higher end brands. When my brother Gardner was at Oakley, Oakley was doing its best to make sure that any of their excess stock would just get destroyed. So if you had Oakley shirts, jackets, snowboarding gloves, whatever, at Macy's or REI, and you couldn't sell it, the company would take it back and destroy it. But every once in a while, something would end up at like TJ Maxx, where it wasn't supposed to be. And so you might be able to get a screaming deal. But they would not sell their product in a Walmart or a Costco. It would bring down the value of the brand. Like if you can go find Oakley at a Costco, then no one's going to go to a Sunglass Hut or REI to buy their Oakleys. They're going to go to Costco to get it, which, you know, you want your brand to seem kind of exclusive. You want it to seem like you can only get it this one place because it's that good and that luxurious. So you don't want it at Costco or Walmart. And that's so that's why Rolex ended up winning their lawsuit against Costco. When was this? It was a while ago. Rolex Costco lawsuit. Oh, Tiffany sold them. But Tiffany sued them because Costco is selling cheap gray market Tiffany. Looks like 2013 maybe when it was. And they're selling gray market. They're selling gray market Omega, Bulova, and Rolex watches they'd gotten from South America. So, yeah, I got that stuff. Squamps, is there a way to selectively smash atoms together to make other things, like core of a star as a nuclear reactor fusing hydrogen and helium? That's exactly what you're doing in a particle accelerator. You're taking certain particles you want to smash together, putting them into a magnetic field, you're firing them around the magnetic field, wee, 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 and then you aim their magnetic fields at each other and smacko. You make something new. You can also use things like neutron guns and fire neutrons into things to make isotopes. And those isotopes, when they decay, can make other material you wanted. So it's truly alchemy in action there, Squamps. But yeah. Oh crap! I'm now at 4:30, so I gotta get going here. Peachy Sunday, my dad gets his Burberry shirt from an outlet in Southeast Asia with slash tag, same material, same factory, 1/10 the price. It's insane. Yeah. Zia Trades, as a reminder, Hertz made most of its gains, 60 cents to $35 in OTC market, then relisted and broke highs a little bit more to $45. Thank you, Zia. There we go. So we got some parallels in there, and this thing might be shorted more with meme stalkers behind it. Maybe we can squeeze it higher than that, right? From 18 cents to a cajillion dollars in the end. I'll take it. I'd be satisfied having that pile of cash in my account at one time. All right, everybody, I gotta get going. For me, myself, the fat cat, and the silent dog, we'll bid you adieu. We'll catch you on Wednesday, and peace. Yeah, that's that. I got a hot wahini on my shirt. See that lady? That's right, monkey.